Become a validator of the Idena network. How to get started in Idena in 5 steps. 1. Create your Idena account. There are officially 2 ways to get your node. The first way is the web version. It is more recommended because it ensures better stability and does not need to synchronize its blocks, which allows an instant connection. To access it, go to app.idena.io. Create your account. You can choose to change your avatar. Enter your password twice, which will be used to unlock your account. Your encrypted private key is displayed. You must write it down and keep it in a safe place. Now, to connect, enter your encrypted private key followed by your password. You will need an invitation code to be able to complete your first validation session. Activate your code. You are now ready to do your first validation session, and you just had to wait until the day of the next validation session. As a candidate, you are entitled to a free API key to complete your first validation session. In the next few sessions, your API key will become obsolete and you will need to obtain a new one from the marketplace set up for this purpose. There are several shared node providers located in several continents with limited places. The cost for an API key code is fixed at 1 Idena. Once the transaction is completed, your API key will be directly implemented in your account. The second way is the desktop application. For this, you will have to go to idena.io and download the application. You can download the client on Mac OS, Windows, Linux, depending on your operating system. Once the client has downloaded, you must run it. Skip the Windows message and start the installation. There will be a download of a node and a synchronization of the blocks, which may take several minutes for the first use. Once the blocks have been downloaded, your node is synchronized. Once your node has been created, it is strongly recommended to export its private key encrypted by your password in case you lose access to your node. For that, you go to Setting, Export Private Key and create your password. Your encrypted private key is displayed. It is strongly recommended to save it in a secure place. You have 2 ways to run a local node. The first is to let it run on the computer. The second requires a VPS. For more information on using a VPS, I recommend the Idena site for information on using a VPS. This site gathers a lot of interesting information about the world of Idena. Do not hesitate to take a look. The local node is not suitable for poorly performing computer and requires a good internet connection to ensure stability, especially during validation sessions. 2. Activate your Idena account. To activate its node, you need an activation code. Usually the codes are sent on the main Idena channel on Telegram. Very important regarding the invitation codes. Invitations are given by the current full members of the Idena network. They have between 1 and 2 invitations codes maximum, and the codes are not unlimited. New codes are available after each validation session. You must ask them for an invitation or wait for them to offer it to you. Don't worry if you can't find an invite code right away. There are a lot of them and people usually share them a few days before validation. The reason people mainly process their invitation on validation day is that most people who accept the invitation a few days before validation forget about validation and waste the invitation given to them. Be aware that a wasted invitation, or if you do not complete the first 3 sessions in a row, is a significant shortfall for the person sending you the code. Which is why the codes are carefully distributed by the validators of the network. It is advisable to show your motivation. Some members will ask you to send him a screenshot of your synced node. With that, they just want to be sure that you are ready with an open account and can activate the invite right away. You can send him a photo of your logged-in Idena account on the Idena web app or on the installed desktop app. Once you have obtained your invitation code, activate it. Your status changes from not validated to candidate and you are ready to complete your first session. 3. First session. The validation session starts at a specific time on the second, ready for everyone in the world. This time is different depending on your time zone, for nodes that run with the local application. Check that your time is synchronized with that of the internet. He would advise you to turn on your node for several tens of minutes or even a few hours before the start of the validation session, depending on the performance of your PC and your internet connection. This avoids a synchronization of the blocks during the validation session, which can cause you to miss it. A validation session is intuitive and takes place in 3 steps. The first is the resolution of 6 flips in less than 2 minutes. The second step and the resolution of about 20 flips in less than 30 minutes. The third step is to check the compliance of the flips of the second session. For that it is necessary to check if the flips correspond well to the 2 words which must characterize it and if it is not a bad flips. If you want to see what a validation session looks like, there is a link to a video in the description. If you want to test yourself, there is also a link in the description. The flips are created by the validators of the network, and it is common to come across poor quality and some incorrect flips. All the steps are important and should not be overlooked. Once finished, you must wait for the end of the validation. 4. Mining. Upon successful completion of the validation session, you have newbie status and can now begin mining. If you need to shut down your node, remember to disable mining. If you cut your node without disabling mining, you will have a mining penalty equivalent to 8 hours of mining. 5. Next session. Before participating in the next session, you will need to create 3 flips. For that you will have the choice of a series of 9 propositions of 2 words. You should choose 3 depending on what works for you. Then you will have to find and select 4 images to create the flip. You can import images directly from the internet or from images already downloaded to your computer. Do not hesitate to adjust the images so that the flip is as readable as possible. Mix the pictures so that the second story does not make sense. Once your 3 flips have been created, you simply have to wait for the next validation session. A good flip earns you rewards in Idena. A good flip tells a story, assembled chronologically, to represent an event or a process from beginning to end. A good flip is easy to solve for humans, but hard for robots. A good flip uses clear, simple images, and lets the story be obvious, with no ambiguity. A good flip uses no text. A good flip uses simple concepts that anyone in the world will easily understand, regardless of their native language or culture. A good flip makes use of the tools available, including drawing and collage, to help battle against AI and add creativity. A good flip uses the shuffle to create a 100% non-logical alternative. A good flip should be relevant to both of the seed words. Here are some good flip examples. A bad flip penalizes you in Idena. A bad flip has no logical story, even if it uses both keywords. A bad flip contains numbers or letters on images. A bad flip is hard to understand. A bad flip contains hateful, inappropriate or NSFW content. A bad flip uses objects in images in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. A bad flip does not use both keywords in the story. If even one of your flip are reported during validation, you lose 100% of your rewards, including invitation rewards for that validation, and you lose the possibility of mining until the next validation session. If the penalty is that big, it's also fair. Flips are an integral part of network security and therefore must be of the best possible quality. Here are some examples of bad flip. Here is a diagram representing the evolving status of an Idena validator. You now have the basics and are now ready to start well in the most decentralized blockchain network.